Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul, and I am a nerd, and you are lucky enough to be here with us today at the January 2015 World Docs Virtual User Group meeting put on by Attorney Computer Systems, me, Paul Perdue, Mary Jo, and Leanne. And today, we are talking about, what are we talking about? The email tab. Mary Jo is going to tell you all about that mysterious email tab that you may or may not have noticed in World Docs. Maybe you've never even been in there, so we'll take a look and explore it. And I'm going to talk about find templates, ways to make searching for things and getting to documents, especially certain types of documents that you go to quite frequently, a lot easier. But before we do that, let's talk about this. This is the GoToWebinar control panel. And if you are still looking at this, then it's because you have not pressed this button here that looks like an arrow pointing to the right, because had you pressed that button, this would have zipped off the right-hand side of your screen. Why would you need to get it off your screen? Because it's probably covering up my screen, and we're going to talk about such exciting things that you're not going to want to miss a pixel. Now, once you get rid of this, you still have these buttons over here visible right on the edge of your screen, and this one that looks like an arrow pointing to the right will change to an arrow pointing to the left, because that's how you bring this panel back. And why would you want to bring the panel back? Because this is where you type questions. So if you type a question here and remember to hit send, then Leanne, our humble and south of the border moderator, well, okay, we're all south of the border today because that's where we ate lunch, but we won't go there. Just be glad you're not here. Our humble moderator, Leanne, will recognize that you have a question. She will interrupt Mary Jo or myself at the opportune time, and she will ask your question on your behalf. Now, I have a tendency to sometimes, I don't know, go off on a tangent, and sometimes we misunderstand what you're asking, and we start answering the whole different question. So remember that while we are answering your question, you can continue to type things here. Maybe you have follow-up questions. Maybe you need to keep us on track. Keep typing. Keep remembering to hit send, and Leanne will interrupt Mary Jo or myself and make sure that we stay on track and get all of your question answered. Now, if that sounds like a lot of typing to you, maybe you'd rather hit this button here that looks like a hand with an arrow pointing upwards in front of it. That means raise your hand. If you raise your hand, Leanne will do pretty much the same thing. She'll recognize that you have a question. She will interrupt me or Mary Jo at the opportune time. But then what she'll do is she will unmute your microphone. Now, keep in mind at this point you have entered the no Frito, no Dorito zone. You will remain unmuted until the question is answered. So you must stop eating and you must stop talking to your secretary and pay attention to us, because this is your opportunity to actually interact and ask those follow-up questions yourself, or do whatever it is to make sure that we stay on track and answer your question. Once we're done answering your question, Leanne will mute your microphone back up, and you will then be back in a Frito or Dorito enabled zone. Now, without any further ado, I'm going to press the magic buttons, all of them, that one and this one and that one, and then don't save, and then sometime we're going to end up in World Docs, and Mary Jo is going to talk about the email tab.
Once I find my unmute button. There we go. All right, so on our World Docs screen, we're just on our regular beginning World Docs screen here. There's a little email tab over here, and it's grayed out, and a lot of times people don't even see it here because they're so busy searching for documents and looking at documents here. But there is this little email tab, and what that does is it gives you a view of your Outlook boxes, all your mailboxes that you have out here in Outlook. They're all visible right here in World Docs. So if we were in Outlook, we would see these exact same folder structure. All of these would be there. And then plus, we have our little World Docs folder. So if you've been saving emails into World Docs, or you've created some of those profiles for your emails and you drag your emails over here, these are here as well. So we've got some of our profile groups here that we've set up for our email profiles. So everything is right here, just like I was in Outlook. So if I go to my inbox, I'm seeing my inbox. If I go to the drafts, I would be seeing drafts, deleted items. All of those things are just like I was working in Outlook. Can talk today. We can send emails right here. We can copy and move emails right from here, so we don't even have to have Outlook be in Outlook to do that. We can do delete emails. You can do all of those things just like you were in Outlook. If I wanted to send an email, if we were back on this list, you know, there's a little email button over here that we can actually email or start an email and send it. Let me get into some files here. I got to have something open, so let me just get in here. And let's say that I wanted to email this document to Paul. As long as, or multiple documents, you know, again, this is just like attachments. I can choose those, and I can click on this little email, and it will open up an email. And it'll ask me, first of all, do I want to send a full copy? And if this is someone outside of my office, I would want to send a full copy. If it was someone inside my office, like Paul, he has access to WorldDocs, so I could just send him what the file list name was. And then you also can encrypt it with a password. But if I wanted to send a full copy and said, okay, it's going to go ahead and open up an email, and it will have this attachment already there. And it's going to open, and there's my attachment, and I'm ready. But you're probably noticing something. We're missing our signature. If you have a signature set up in Outlook, we also want to be able to put that signature here. Now, I could come up here and I could go to the signature box and I could, you know, choose my signature and just pop it in there. But if I want this signature to always just automatically be set here, I'm going to just copy it and we're going to go set that up over in WorldDocs. So I'm going to go back into WorldDocs. Whoops, that's not the right one. You've got something else here. Let me go over here to this WorldDocs. And I'm going to go back to this email tab and I'm going to go into my Edit Signature. And I can open up, it's going to open up my email here, and I can go ahead and paste it in. Now, I already had an email started, which I'm going to close, so that we will just be in a blank email. And let me make sure I've got everything closed there. All right, so let me go back into my edit, my signature, and now I should just get a blank email. Here it is. So I can now put that in. I'm just pasting that in, and now that will remember this signature, and I can save my changes. So when I'm done, it even has these nice little cheat boxes here, or whatever, little tips here. When done, press escape and save your changes. So I'm done. I'm just going to save it, and I'm out. Now if I come in to do an email, and I want to email this, and let me get back to my regular list here. And let's bring up an email. And I'm going to do a full copy of, let's pick one. I guess I should have picked one. Let me get a document here. And let me send an email, say OK, and let's see if we can't find, there's my signature right there automatically. I don't have to go up here and pick that. And you notice it opens up Outlook just like I were in Outlook right from WorldDocs. So I can come in and just send my emails here. Now I'm working in Outlook. I can send my address list. Everything is available, and I can go send this email with that attachment. And again, multiple attachments can be done. So that you've got that. Whoops,
Too late.
Sorry. Did you need something?
Yeah,
here.
let me interject. That when you do this, be careful, pay attention to your subject, because I hate this subject. I absolutely hate it. It's something that WorldDocs puts in, and you're going to want to put something better in there. And a lot of times the habit is to see that there's a subject there and just ignore the fact that it's kind of garbage that WorldDocs has put in that's not going to be sensical to your recipient.
It's taking this from the document name. I mean, if we go back over here, we'll see that that was the regarding demo of WorldDocs, but it's saying it's emailing the regarding demo of WorldDocs and the document number, which who you're emailing it to probably will not, they don't care what that is. That's absolutely right. So again, here's my email tab, my tree, so to speak, of all of my actual folders that I have in Outlook that I can access. I can see and open any email right from there. I can go in and send a new message, and I can do the new message from here too. I went out because a lot of times when we're emailing a document, we're not emailing, you know, an attachment from here. So sometimes it's easier to be out here on our main document list or be looking at a certain matters documents, select them, and click email over there. But if I just wanted to start a brand new message and I'm not attaching anything right off the bat, I can just click on the new message, and again, it's just going to take me out to Outlook. If I click Attach File, it's going to open WorldDocs, and again, I can pick that. So sometimes I think that's a few extra steps there. It's just as easy just to select the documents I want to attach by coming over here and just picking and choosing the documents. And again, I could filter. I could have done a direct access, went to a client, attached everything I want, start the email, and I can work right from in here. So again, email. Great tab here that you can go through and see some things quickly, send some things easily. You can refresh it. You can find and search for messages within here. Very helpful.
Let me also interject. I forgot to mention this when we talked about this morning,
Sure.
Mary Jo. This is also where you can, if you
Yes.
accidentally say, I want to ignore all emails that get sent to Bob Jones, I don't want to profile them automatically, this is where that rule would end up. So as many of you know, if you're in Outlook and you send an email, when you get done sending it, if you've got it set to do it, World Docs will pop up and say, hey, let me put that away for you. And one of your options is ignore all messages to this person. Great if you're sending your wife an email and you're never going to put it in your law firm's repository of documents that you're sending email to your wife. Bad if you accidentally get a client in there. And so this address rules is also found on the email tab under edit, address rules, and that's where you go to get that out of there. You would find a rule in there that says to ignore Bob Smith, and you would just delete that rule. So let me then go on and go back and talk about thank you, Mary Jo. She's thinking that I'm having a senior moment because I'm very old. I just can't think and move my cursor at the same time. Find templates. Now, when you come into that's okay. Yeah, she's telling me that that's a senior moment as well. Perhaps it is. We won't go there. I don't have the capacity to argue with you right now because I can't think and argue at the same time. A profile group. If you come in here into Find, flat out, after World Docs is installed and no Find templates have been defined, then you end up having to select which profile group, and you have to say you want the one highlighted. I hate that. Don't get me started on that. And then you have to define what you want to look for. But you can define these things called Find templates that allow you to really zero in and find things quicker without having to make all these selections. So let's do one. Let's say that I am frequently looking for fee agreements, which are always in the 00 matter, but it could be for any client. So I'm going to go into Profile Group. I'm going to choose Client Files. I'm going to answer the question I hate. I'm going to put in 00 here. And fee agreements in my system are FA. And then I'm going to go to Options. And I'm going to save the template. And I'm going to save as a new template. And it's either only me, everyone, or limited groups. Now, most of you as users will define Find templates for yourself. If you're a system administrator or World Docs administrator, you may have the option to define them for certain groups or for everyone, and that may be appropriate. But for now, we're going to talk about only me. And I either want to show the template or perform the search. Now, I can create a Find template that goes straight to Purdue Law Offices because it's my largest client. And if that were the case, and I've already defined everything, I'd probably want to perform the search. But I'm going to fee agreements, and when I run this template, I'm going to want to be able to specify which client. So for now, I'm going to say Show Template. In a minute, I'll make it more clear about what this means here. And I'm going to give it a name that makes sense to me because I'm going to choose this later. I'm going to save it. I'm going to get out of here, and now look what happens when I hit Find. This is my only Find template, so it takes me right here. In a minute, I'm going to define another. I can now put in my clients. I'm going to put in Lewis Wagner because they have some fee agreements. Oops, I do that a lot. I forget to let it find before I hit enter. And now I search, and bam, there's all the fee agreements for Lewis Wagner. Now I'm going to create another Find template. So I'm going to start a new search. You basically start from scratch. And this one isn't even going to be this client group, so I want to create this profile group. So I want to clear these things out, and I want to choose email. And I'm going to create a Find template that takes me straight to the email for Tom, somebody that I work with. I have a special email folder for Tom because I want to be able to search for his emails quickly. And normally I can just go to search and search for Tom, but I have to specify the profile group and type Tom. I want a quick button I can press. So I'm going, oops, yeah, I forgot to save it. So I'm going to go back into modify my last active search. And I'm going to go to Options. I'm going to save it. And I'm going to call this one Tom Email. I do not want it to show the template. I want it to go ahead and show me all the documents for Tom. I don't want to, there's nothing more to specify. I'm going to save it as a new personal template. I'm going to get out of here. And now when I go to that and start a new search, now that I have more than one Find template, I have fee agreements, I have Tom Email, or I can go to my last search. So now what I've done is I've kind of automated my search box. And so now I can go to fee agreements, and it's going to ask me who, and I can type a number or I can search for a name, just like I did, and bam. But I can also run the Tom Find template. And that one doesn't stop to ask me anything. It just takes me to all of my emails to or from Tom, or that have been classified as being relating to Tom. Let's go through it one more time. I'm going to go to Search. I'm going to start a new search because we always start from scratch. I'm going to go to my last search and then kind of start from there. Let's say that I want all of the Office documents, but I want to be able to specify which doc type, but I only want the ones where I was the author. I'm going to save it. Which do I want here? I want Show Template because I want to be able to specify which doc type when I run it. Remember that? I'm going to call it My Office Docs. Remember, I'm specifying in the template that it's only the documents that I create. I'm saving it only for me. I want it to show the template so I can specify which doc type. I'm going to save it. I'm going to cancel and go right back in so you can see that I now have My Office Docs. It takes me here, lets me type something. I don't remember. I'm not in Office Docs very often, so hold on. Articles. I guess that's where my articles go. And there we have it. Now I'm looking at a list of all the articles that I have put into the Office Docs area in World Docs. And that, in a nutshell, is Find templates. Now, Mary Jo reminded me this morning that another thing you can do then is you can take a Find template and you can also make a bookmark out of it. So I'm not going to get into a lot of detail, but you would just go to Bookmarks and add this list, and then it can actually be a button that you show up here. In fact, I've already done that for my Tom Find template. And so now I can get to that right away. You don't do that for all your Find templates. Only certain ones are important enough that they would be on your button bar. And there's your templates.
One other thing, when Paul is going in here and he's clicking on the little binoculars here, it's asking you then, you have to click on Start a New Search. If you come over here to your just search up here on the bar and just click that, it gives you the drop down, so you can just choose which one right here. You don't have to go in and click on search or get on there. You can just choose Tom Email or whatever. So whatever ones you've defined will all show up on this list.
Exactly.
Paul, maybe you should show them if they put one on there that they don't want, they want to remove it.
I was just thinking about that when you wrestled control from me. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go into Start a New Search because I want this screen. I don't want to go straight to that list up here. I want this screen because let's say that this one for my Office Docs I created wrong, or I just want to get rid of after a while. You can delete them here. So you have the ability to edit or delete a template here, and the edit template must be restricted in the group security. That's everything that you can do in World Docs you can restrict, and we must have that restricted, or else that would be showing. Why you'd be able to delete them and not edit them, I don't know. That's probably just the way we set it up to play with something one day. But here's where you would delete them, and here's where you'd also be able to edit them if you had the rights to do that. Okay, that is Find templates in a nutshell. And I tell you, we try to set you up with your default Find template, but after that, the rest of it's up to you. And so I hadn't set any up, and when I started working with this, several months ago for something else that I was working with a client on, I set up a whole bunch, and it literally changed my life. right then and there. My whole life changed. So try it yourself. Go play with your find templates. Let me know if it changes your life. Next month, we are going to talk about hooks. Hooks are the way that WorldDocs knows to hook into a program. WorldDocs is there whenever you try to save something. How? Usually hooks. So we're going to talk about what they are, how they're defined. We're not going to teach you how to write them because that's something that sometimes we even revert to WorldDocs support to do, and sometimes we do it ourselves. But we're going to explain the concept of hooking and how it works, and how you can find the ones that may already be written, how you can install them, or if you're a WorldDocs administrator and have rights to do that. And Mary Jo's going to talk about passwords. There are a couple passwords that you can set in WorldDocs. We're going to talk about what they are, where they're appropriate, where they're not appropriate, and how to get in there and work with them. And I want to leave you with this. Our new website is up. So if you go to Attorney Computer Systems, notice how I emphasize the S in the end of systems, and .com. And you will notice now that we have a search box. Didn't have that before. And so if I want to find, what did we talk about last month, Mary Jo? I'm just going to type WorldDocs. If you type a word here, it's going to find all the pages, and if you if you then search for it by hitting enter, it'll take you to a list of all the content that has to do with that. Or as you're typing, it will pop up suggestions as to what you're looking for. That's very cool, but we also then have the video section where we have all 3 of the virtual user group meetings, including the WorldDocs virtual user group meeting, our other live event, the Coffee Pot webinars, plus our 2 non-live events that are taped programs, if you will, the eBite video series that Mary Jo does and the Paul and Mary Jo show that Mary Jo and I do together. If you go to one of these live events, like this one here, you will find registration information for the next event. Look at that. This is also something we're doing new with the website. The next event is published while we're doing the current event. So there it is. There's the next event. If you scroll down, you'll find recordings of the previous events. So we have content going back years and years, lots of content on the website. And of course, the one that we're currently listening to is not available yet. It's coming soon. It's currently in post-production. That means that I have to get my butt in gear and get these transferred so that Brad, our video producer, can get them finished and published on the website. So be sure to take advantage of all this content that's out there, all the videos. And be sure to take advantage of the search capabilities if you're looking for something in particular. Everybody have a good rest of the day, rest of the week, and certainly rest of the month, because we will see you next month on February 23rd when we talk about hooks and passwords. Bye-bye, everybody.